Thank you, Judge Fleisher, for doing this interview with me today. I appreciate it. Did I pronounce the name right?
Good enough.
Good enough.
Thank you for, I guess, helping us spread a message.
How long have you been practicing law?
I was licensed in '04, and I started my defense work right then and there, and just started helping out with people who were arrested at that point, and did that until I got elected in 18. I was elected, so I represented people from 2004 to around about 2018. Helped a lot of people, and it's been quite the shift from defense work to becoming a judge now. It's a lot of fun. It's work. But I'd like to think of it that we're helping a lot of people, and that's the idea. But it's been great so far. I can't complain. It's the best job in the world, right? I mean, being a lawyer is just the best. I mean, I have people that all the time that call me or will actually come to court. Hey, I'm thinking about becoming a lawyer. What do you think? I see so many people discouraged it. I'm like, I can't believe it. The amount of information you get from going to law school, even if you don't become a lawyer, it's amazing. No one can mess with you when you know things. And you do that by going to law school. So even if you don't end up practicing law, just the information you gain, it's amazing. So I would wholeheartedly encourage anyone, if you're thinking about going to law school, go. It's expensive, but if you treat the law well, it'll pay you off in dividends.
So do you like being more of a judge or more of an attorney?
Both.
Both?
Yeah, both. They're each in their own way different, but the basic premise is the same, to help. That's the idea, and that's why we're here, is to help as many as we can in the short time that we're going to be here. Who knows how long we're going to be here? Because even if this gig doesn't work out, I can always become a defense lawyer again, and that's the idea. But we'll always be there to help regardless. Well, in one fashion, one way or the other.
Full disclosure, I'm a big fan of yours. I've seen you on social media, and I've looked at your style. I had to do a double take. I was like, is this somebody's father? I mean, he's good. I mean, where does that come from? Your style?
My folks. I think that, my folks are the greatest, just the absolute best. And, we all had problems growing up. I know that I was hell on wheels. I can't tell you God, I was thinking about this the other day in the car where I probably, from grade school through high school, had every teacher, so many that would just put me down. Fleisher, you're a day late and $1 short. Just told me that I would amount to nothing, And it really skews you, it really hurts you, and it kind of drives you. But the one constant I always had were my folks. And when you slip up, when you fall, you need someone there to kind of help you up, and because you're going down this line, and when you're growing up, you may veer off that line, right? So you got your folks to kind of hit you back in line, to get you back on the straight and narrow, right? That's what I try to do here. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but we're still gonna try it. And that's the basic premise of what we do is I got 4 great kids at home, and then I got another 2,500 here. And every person that rolls out here, and it doesn't matter the age, doesn't matter the color, doesn't matter where they come from, everyone we try to treat the same way. And if I see you messing up, I'm gonna call you out on it. If you're doing great, we'll give you a hug and just try to congratulate you as much as possible, prop you up so you feel good, so you know that you're doing well. We appreciate you. We're here for you. Even when you're doing well, I give my card to everybody so that if you need something, call me. We're here, whatever you need.
I can tell you really care. And you don't see that from the bench all the time.
I think the hardest thing, well, probably the most difficult thing about a judge is patience. It's really hard. And if someone else says something differently, I'm hard pressed to believe it, because you see a lot of the same stuff. You see a lot of people going through, making mistakes. And if you don't have the patience, what happens? You lose it. You may lose it in the sense where you just put someone in jail. You may revoke, raise their bond. You may make comments that are not comments that you should make. And I think that patience goes a long way. And we try to exercise as much patience as we can. And it's the father figure in me, I guess, that I try to, with the kids that I have at home, it's taught me to develop a lot of patience. We take that here, and when you have it, and when you see it, and you care for everyone here, I don't know. It goes a long way, I think, and just the idea is to educate. The idea is to help as many people as you can.
So is it safe to say that you see yourself as helping others from a father's perspective?
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, you've essentially, you're holding law enforcement and others accountable for their actions. I mean, I've seen you in court where you've made a statement, and I'm paraphrasing, driving while black. I mean,
So what I'm doing essentially is I'm looking to see whether there's probable cause to go forward.
Right.
And I'm questioning motives, and I'm questioning what's going on. And I want to make sure that everything is done on the up and up. And that's the idea of when I'm talking and when we're doing probable cause in different cases, I'm trying to look at, okay, is there true probable cause to go forward with the case? Is there an ulterior motive? What's going on here? And that's essentially what we're doing, is just to see, hey, is there enough to go forward? Or are we calling it what it is? So is it accountability? I don't know. But I think that at the end of the day, if it's one matter, or if it's true probable cause, then that's what we're going to see. That's what we're going to call. And I hope at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's they see something, there's an infraction, and it rises up to the level for it to go further for a law enforcement interaction. If not, and if you got some other kind of motive.
I see it as accountability. I see it as you saying to law enforcement, before you arrest somebody and it comes in my courtroom, you better make sure you've crossed your T's and dotted your I's.
Yeah, of course.
Or I'm going to throw it out. Have you got any pushback from law enforcement at all?
No, because I'm fair though. Truly, and I'm not. I really call it as I see it. So, if there is enough to go forward, then there is. If there's not, then we're gonna put it out. So, really, it's a matter of fairness to both sides, not to just one side. It's to both sides, because you have to look at it through a neutral lens to see, hey, it's not a matter of whose side or this side or who's more correct or not. There's a law. Has that law been broken? Yes or no? And is there enough to rise up? If there's not, or if you're using some kind of other pretense, forget about it. We're not going to let it go. We're not going to let it happen.
But I'm going to give you a little pushback for a second. So when law enforcement arrests someone, they're saying to you and to the state that there's probable cause here, in their opinion. But when you look at it sometimes, I've seen you, you've pushed back and said,
Sure,
there's no,
of course, yeah.
you're walking around black. I think there was a gentleman that was walking across the train tracks. I don't know if you remember that or not. And he went and he got into someone's car. And he got out. And you said to the state, I do that all the time. I've gone to see my friend, got in the car and got right back out. And you threw the case out.
Remember, I can't comment on
Right.
specific cases, right? However, that's one of the things that you look at. What's done in the ordinary, normal course of business every day? Are they using that as a pretense to be able to get to basically search, right? These are things that you look at all to decide whether there's probable cause or not. So and I don't know how other judges do it. I don't know if they rubber stamp, where it's just, okay, here we go, yes, yes, yes. Every case that comes through here, we look at it and we go through it in specific detail to see if there is or not. I will routinely pull out the code book to see, okay, this is what the charge is, let's look at it to see. And I will look through every single line of the code to make sure that it's followed so that people aren't wrongly arrested. And if I see something that's that doesn't jive, bye-bye, that's it. So we really, and it's every single case. Nothing gets rubber stamped so that we know that everybody gets a fair shake. Because that's the idea. We're all about being fair. This is educational. It's education, tolerance, accountability, and making sure that fair at the end of the day.
I'm sure maybe in the back of your mind, does the state, do they have any criticism of you, the way you handle your cases that you've heard at all?
I don't know.
Other judges?
I don't know. Like what I like to say is, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. So when I'm done here, I go home to my family, and that's what matters to me. So I don't try to keep my ear to the street. I'm not concerned about I guess politics, right? We have to because we're running, right? But outside forces don't concern me. I don't care. I have enough drama in my life. I don't need any more. I've got 4 young kids. One of them's always sick. I have enough drama. One's 13, one's a cell phone now. I'm up to here with stuff at home, right? So I want to do here. I want to help as many as I can, and then I'm going to get out, and I'm going to go home and do, I get my 1 hour fortnight, and then I'm going to start helping my family,
I like that.
So
I like Fortnite too.
Oh, man. So I get 1 hour, if that. So I want to get my 30 minutes, and then it's off to daddy duty. And then that's what I do.
I like that.
So daddy duty here, and then right back at home as well.
Bail reform. What are your thoughts of bail reform?
It's great. It works. It works. The problem is that, statistically, people can say anything else, right? 32% of people know statistics. Statistics can be manipulated in any way to show any data that you want. At the end of the day, it works. The basic premise is that we don't want innocent people to plead guilty. That's the idea. You got to remember, I practiced a long time before I came here, and I can't tell you the amount of people that would plead guilty just to get out of jail. It doesn't matter what the charge is. It doesn't matter what the ramifications are. It doesn't matter what the future consequence is. The only thing people see is the key to get out, and they'll do anything in their power to get out. In so much as even plead guilty to murder, aggravated assault, DWI, doesn't matter. The only thing people want is to get out. And the unfortunate thing is with here, our misdemeanors, you cannot imagine the amount of people that cannot even afford $100 to get out. It's truly staggering. People can't even pony up $50 to get out of jail. So in lieu of that happening, we let them out with the promise to return, and it's great, it works. Now remember, this is misdemeanor. I don't know about felony court, but in misdemeanor court, we don't want people to plead guilty just to get out. And it ruins lives. You may lose if you're stuck in jail for a weekend, you may lose your house, your apartment, who knows what kind of pets you may have at home, a kid. and it can even run so much as you get pulled over on a suspended license case. As trivial as that may be to some, it's still a charge. It's still as serious as a DWI, a suspended license, and it can ruin your life. So the idea is you get them out and they can work their case on the outside. So they can take time, have a lawyer, and truly fight the case from the outside. So you don't have to just do whatever you can to get out. Do you have people that take advantage? Sure, of course. And we have remedies for that. We revoke bonds. That's what we do. If you show me that you are a flight risk, we're no more catch and release. If you are showing me that I can't trust you to come back, that's it. We'll revoke your bond and you stay in. A lot of times we have people that come back, oh, I'm so sorry I missed this. And I understand, right? We're not out for blood. I get it, things happen. But if you do it on a consistent basis, you tell me it's just disingenuous, it's not true. So I think it works. And I
So do you think it works for nonviolent crimes or for violent crimes or for both?
Well, the idea is that it's supposed to work for everything. It's not a cookie cutter for just one type of crime. It's for everything. Now, I think the pushback is that a lot of people don't agree with bail reform as far as serious cases are concerned. The aggravated cases, the serious felony cases. I don't know about that. All I know is about us and the most serious type of cases that we have here are the assaults cases, domestic violence type cases. And bail reform is for you, we let you out, come back. If you come back, good things will happen, right? We want to help you, and that can happen if you come back. If you don't come back, then you got to understand what the consequence is. And I think it's the same whether it's violent or nonviolent.
So some of the critics of bail reform, they say, letting somebody out 5 times for the same crime has gone up. There's no incentive. You look at California, for instance, what crime has happened to that city in LA and in San Francisco. And they have the catch and release program. Is it the same here as it relates to the bail reform, or is it a little different there than it is here?
I don't know. I don't know about like LA, California. So here, the way it works, so for example, let's say you get arrested on a charge. You will come, they'll take you down to the Joint Processing Center. You'll get in front of a magistrate, and depending on what your charge is, you'll get what's called a general order bond. Well, we will release you, and then you have to come back to court. Typically, it's in a week. We give you a week to come back. On the more serious cases, you might get in front of a magistrate, and they might put bond conditions on you. You're supposed to follow these conditions. You have to remember that we are always about public safety, number one. Whether it's here, whether it's magistration, but the idea is always the same. We want to protect the public, and we will do everything in our power to do it. I understand that people have concerns about bail reform, but understand we put conditions on people to ensure public safety. You get the bond, we put conditions on it, and you're to come back. If you don't, then we will revoke the PR bond, and at that point, you will need to make a surety bond. It may be, right? Sometimes it may be a high bond, sometimes it may not be a high bond. A lot of it depends on who you go in front of. A lot of it depends on, have you picked up a new case? Are you showing me that you're a danger? And we here, I don't know if you ever watch, but every person that comes in here, we put you on notice. Hey man, my number one concern is public safety. If you are going to be a danger to that, we are going to have an issue.
I heard you say that.
Yeah, every single person. It doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, our basic and primary concern is public safety. Sometimes it'll take a while for someone to register, but by and large, I would say most get it. Now, of course, you have outliers, and for those, we take the appropriate steps. I don't know how other cities work. I don't, you know, if they're a danger, I have no idea. I know that what we do here, we try to do, at least myself and my brother, you know, try to do everything in our power to protect the public. Remember, we're misdemeanor around here, so I don't know what happens upstairs in the felony courts and how they handle. But I know me here, I take it absolutely, just, it's paramount.
Mental health. Is that an issue?
Of course. A lot of times what we do here is we have someone evaluated to see, you know, what kind of issues you have. Do you have issues, number one? If so, what kind and how can we help you? We do have a mental health court here that will help with those types of people who need mental health help. So we have actual courts and we have a diversionary program that helps people get the help that they want or that they need. And the offers and the plea bargain offers are structured so that it kind of entices people to get help that they need, you know. But yeah, we absolutely take it seriously, and it's one of the most paramount things that we use, and the tools that we have here help to get people the help that they need.
Yeah, I got a chance to visit the mental health facility here, and I interviewed the director of one of the programs. It's just fantastic on how they work with law enforcement and with the courts. I think that's definitely important.
Every so often we have defendants that come in with mental health issues, and what we do is if they've shown us that they cannot come back and that they have an issue and they're a flight risk, we will tailor an agreement in such that they're released to the facility themselves so that we know that they're going there.
Right.
Because one of the things that I like to do here in our court is ensure that, hey, you've shown me you're a flight risk. I see it. We've tried to do it your way. It's not working. Let's try it my way now. And one of the things that I like to do is I don't want to put someone on the street. The last thing I want is, the idea just to plead someone to get out, and then what do? We throw you back out in the street, we throw you back out with the wolves. That's not the way to do things, because it's just going to continue to happen. I mean, we have people here with 30-something priors, 20 priors, and if we continue to do it, the circle, it's a circle. It's circular. It just keeps happening over and over. It stops now. We're not going to continue to do this. And I let a lot of them know, and they get upset with me. And I said, okay, look, I'm sorry, but I mean, history tells us what's going to happen. We got to cut it enough now, no more. I get it, they don't like it, but I'm trying to help. And a lot of times they're short-sighted, but I apologize profusely. And I don't think it helps, but sorry. But I'm not sorry.
No, the critics of bail reform and the system is that it enables individuals. You think it enables people when they just are able to just use the court as in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out?
I mean, you always have outliers. You always do. Remember, we're upending a system that was in place, 150 years?
Correct.
I mean, how long is this? How long? I mean, our criminal justice system has been in place, since the Magna Carta? Since, 1600, 1700, 1800? So we've had this system in place. For anyone to think that it's going to work overnight, I mean, you're fooling yourself. It takes years. We're literally turning a criminal justice system on its head. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in 2 years. You want perfect results? Get a life. No way. It takes time. And A lot of people don't get that. We're just now getting to a place where I think everybody's becoming more comfortable with how the system is working with regard to the people who do well, and then more importantly, the people who don't do well, who continue to be a flight risk. And what I've seen is there's always a reason why. The flight risk issue, there's always a reason why. Whether it's mental health, addiction, and incapable of being sober, there's a reason why. And the idea is to tackle that why. And once you get there, hopefully that will resolve the number one, coming back with criminal cases. Number two, the aspect of being a flight risk, or that you keep taking off. There's a reason for everything, why it happens,
How do we get law enforcement to see what you see, so to speak, in terms of dealing with the public and bringing in cases that you may see as be driving while black?
I don't know. There are so many police officers out there. 99 of them, 99% do such a great job. Just like in any profession, you're always going to have a couple bad apples here and there. You want to root out those bad apples, and then if other people see that if you act a certain way, your employment will end, hopefully they will straighten up and fly right. So example is just the best way. And realizing that if you act a certain way, if you police a certain way, then these are the results. You can expect good things if you act a certain way. And that goes with anything in life. It's not just police, it's everyday general life. If you act a certain way, life's not going to go well for you. If you're nice, if you have integrity, it goes such a long way. I can't tell you the amount of lawyers I see coming in here, and they just fight like billy goats with the state. What do you think you're going to get? Nothing. You get more with honey than you do with vinegar. And some people don't get it, and some people will never get it. And that's okay. I think you're doing a disservice to your client. Perhaps someday you'll learn, but it's like that in everyday life. Just be nice. Goes a long way. Not everybody just subscribes by that theory, and hopefully one day they'll grow up.
No, it does. But you have a certain discernment about yourself, and it's likable. People like that. People see you. I don't know, you're very humble, and you don't see it that way, but it's true. It's got to come from somewhere.
I think that, if you're nice, and you got to understand with police, it's so difficult. I mean, imagine being on the beat. It's 1 a.m. You're responding to a domestic violence emergency where it's got to be tough. Like here on the bench, it's all about patience. It's like that out on the beat as well. I can't imagine how hard it must be to be 1 a.m. You're dealing with people who are either doped up or in the middle of a medical or a mental emergency. Talk about being hard to have patience. That's got to be. So how do you train that?
Yeah, but that's what you signed up for.
I get it. Yes, but it's still, imagine how hard it must be.
Yeah, but you seem to found your voice on the bench. And whether you're a judge or you're a prosecutor or you're a police officer on the street, that's what you signed up for. But you found your voice, and you found a niche that is working. And why can't we get others, like in law enforcement, to kind of not fall in line, but to understand and see what you see?
The greatest, the best thing you can do is just teach patience in all aspect of every employment, every job, especially with police. How do you do it? It's the $25 million question, right? How do you, because there would be so many more people alive if you could teach everyone how to respond in in an emergent situation, especially when there's a mental psychosis of some sorts going on. That's the issue. That's because when you do that, you have a lot less dead people out on the street.
It's true.
I don't know. So here, that's what we do. Try to like impart patience. Try to like, hey, come on, man, what are you doing? Well, yeah. Really, if you say this, what kind of result are you going to get? If you act like this, I mean, and I tell this to my kids too all the time, and all my children here, right? Think before you act. Think before you speak, because you never know what you're going to say. Who's a loose cannon on the other side, right? Yeah. Anyways, enough preaching.
No, I like it. I do. I do.
Your lawyer has tried to work out an agreement with you. The problem is that it's going to take a while. And sometimes for a good result, it may take a while for that to happen. You know, when we started this gig, it was never really about trying to be big, trying to be this grandiose. The idea has always been the same: educate and transparency. That's been the overarching theme since day one. And it never started, it was kind of like a happy accident. You know, I remember it was about 8 months ago, we had a case in here. I Zoom meetings for the lawyers because it makes it easier for everyone. You know, lawyers are maybe in different counties, maybe in different courts. So we have the Zoom set up to make their life easier. And I had been broadcasting it to the public so that everybody can see. And it turns out that one, I guess, YouTube channel called Court Vibes found us. And I guess just, hey, you know, you should put this on YouTube because that way people can see what's going on. Not many people get access to this and can see what's going on. And if you reach out to a wider audience, people will truly see what goes on in a courtroom. And I was thinking, you know, that's a good idea, because if you reach out to a larger audience and get them, the younger generation, they'll see it, see what happens, and it'll prevent them from acting in a way that would end up getting them arrested. So the idea since day one has always been to educate and to let everybody see it. I can't tell you how much a kick I get when teachers email us saying, hey man, we showed this to our classroom and they were just feeding on it and loved it. It's great because then they'll see what happens. Students see and they'll think, hey, wow, God, that would really be a bad thing to end up in jail like that. That's been the overarching, that's been the goal. And the more people that see it, the better it is. Because that's what you get, the message out, to educate. It's great.
No, it is. I mean, you may not know this, but you're TikTok famous. People all around the country are talking about you.
I don't know about that. I don't think so.
I think so.
I don't use TikTok, but
I know you don't, but people are. People are, I mean, I've talked to, I'm not talking to the whole world, but I talked to a great majority of individuals and they're talking about you, about your style.
I've had people send me stuff. My only problem is that it's so chopped up, people don't see the whole thing.
Right.
And what I don't want is people to look at us in a negative light, because I may say something where just that in and of itself looks bad, but if you get the whole context, it doesn't look bad. That's one of my biggest fears, because everything we say is we want to help you. We're not here to hurt you. But if they chop it up in a certain way that looks like we're saying and being hurtful and negative, I'm like, hey, that's what I don't want. I'll lose more hair, and I don't have any more hair.
Is TV in the future for you?
I don't know about that. We'll just keep doing what we're doing, have fun, educate, and just try to get the message out as much as we can. Because who knows how long we're going to be here. I mean, if the trend keeps up, this past
I can see the trend keeping up.
I'm scared now.
But I think you're immune to that. I think the trend.
No.
I do.
It's one thing about others seeing outside, but I just gotta win here too. So it scares me.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about racism, because it seems to me that you've sort of kind of don't like it, and you've understood when you see it, that you kind of take it on from the head. How do we educate the public about racism? I mean, because you've seemed to find your voice on the bench.
What we do here, what we're doing here, right? I'm gonna call you. If we say something, I'm gonna call you out on it. Don't act like that. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. If we see it, we call it, and there's just no place for it. No matter where you are, no matter who you are. That's it. And is it gonna stop? No. Will it ever? I don't know. But I'm gonna call it. And we all see it. We've all been subjected to it, and it sucks. But just we chip at it one person at a time. And the other thing that's great about this is it spreads awareness too. So if someone sees probable cause on a specific case and it's out there for the world to see, people are gonna know who it is. People are gonna see it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Right. So they're gonna know what, how, who. You act like a certain way and it's out there forever. People will always know.
So are you the same way at home when you get home to the kids and to the wife, and do they see you as?
Yeah, it's here, same way at home. I mean, this is, I mean, what you see here is this is all the time. I mean, I hope that's good.
It is good. I have to ask you lastly, the bow tie. Where does that come from? Is this your style, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I saw a person wearing it once. I like to be outside of the box. I like to be abnormal. I don't want to be cookie cutter. I want to be unique. I don't wear a robe up there. Why? Am I better? No. I mean, no. I'm me up there. Same way here. Same way I'm at home. What you see here is the way we are out there, and it'll continue. And every single person that's out there, I'm going to treat them there like my own. And that's it. And I'll help you, and I will love you. And if you act like a knucklehead, I'll put you over in and I'm going to spank you like a little child. And I'll do it. But I do it with other means, so to speak. Everybody's on notice. And so hopefully the fear of it is sufficient enough to warrant you to act in a good way. Because especially for the young folk that come in front of us, I think that, a lot of people get angry that I may seem mean. I may seem like, he's an a-hole the way he acts up there, just preaching out there, acting like he's all angry. And I'm doing it so that I reach them. I'm doing it so that I get through to you. Do you remember what it was like when you were 17? You were indestructible, on fire, where you thought that you could do anything without regard? So many 17-year-olds are like that. So what I try to do is I try to get angry. I try to get, so that I can reach you, so that I get through to you. I break down the barrier. Because a lot of kids have that barrier where you just like, man, you can't talk to me like that. What's wrong with you, fool? So you chip away. And hopefully you'll make it break through, reason with them, get them to see the light so that they move on to greatness, Because it starts here, you get them to, especially for women, So many girls, well, my husband does this and this, and I'm relying. No. Why do you have to rely on a man? Rely on yourself. That man may never be there. Men are dogs. Don't. I mean, that's what I teach my young girls. Don't rely on a man. Get your education so that if something ever happens, you can fall back on yourself. You don't have to rely on any man. So we chip away at every single person that comes here. And that's it. Steady message.
When you get ready to start campaigning again, will you let me know? Because I want to go out with you and help you out.
January. No, well,
Thank you so much.
I mean, it'll be a while, but thank you. I appreciate it. You know, but just hopefully we get out there, help as many as we can in the short time we can. You know, and we'll see.
Thank you for doing this interview.
I'm happy to be here.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for helping us spread the message, and you know, anything you ever need, I'm
Likewise.
you know, yeah. Thanks again.
Thank you.